Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining today for another edition of Between Two Sticks. Looking forward to today's interview. Before we get going here, thanks to Grizz Impact, Turtle is Cute, and KFR for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you guys in here. Yeah, so we just did a good interview with Crooked Metal the other day on Monday, and looking forward to getting this one going. So we'll get right into it. I don't think we have much to address here, so here we go. Here's the set, Between Two Sticks, your host, Big Kahuna 3, as always, and hopefully to continue to be the host. Today, joining me, he has 305 points in 129 games played. He's a one-time WJC bronze winner. He builds good teams and had a great team this season. Owner of the Sioux Greyhounds, Slayer. Slayer, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining today, buddy.
Thanks for having me on, buddy. I really appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I know I reached out to you, I think just about a week ago, and we were like, hey, let's do this. You seemed super excited about it, and I love to see that, and I'm looking forward to the conversation we're about to have today.
Same here, man. I'm ready to bring the hype train. Let's go.
Awesome, man. Awesome. You know what? Before we even get started, I love the picture you sent me. This is awesome. It fit on the chair perfectly too. It shows a little bit of your character and your hype too. So this is awesome.
Yeah, it was straight fire. Like before we start though, you mind if I just throw some shout outs real quick?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Dope, dope. So I just basically wanted to go like, straight top from to the bottom of LG. Thank all those guys that put in countless hours from, LG McDonald, to all the Bogs, to all the guys working behind the scenes. Without them, none of this would be possible, right? So it's just dope. Like I'd like to thank those guys. Big shout out. Big shout out to the Oshawa Generals for sure, the Mem Cup champions. Those guys, played lights out. Like it was unreal to go up against them. It was a lot of fun. Great guys, great players. Super happy for them. And then, like, last but not least, obviously my team, my management crew, and everybody, who was along for the ride. It ended a little bit shorter than we would have liked, but hey, we back, we out here. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Love that. Love that. That's the first time somebody's actually come in and gave a shout out to all the bogs and stuff, like right off the hop. That's awesome, man. No, you're right. Those guys do a lot of work, and it's nice to give them a shout out once in a while. And probably the best time to do it is now because, we're not mad at them about anything right now. Later in the season we'll see what happens. But yeah. So usually the way we start this off is give us one random or interesting fact about you.
So yeah, I was looking for a random, but I couldn't really find a random. So I went more with the interesting side of things. And I'm actually on the board of directors for my local basketball refereeing association, specifically in charge of the DRM program, what we call. So that's development, recruiting, and mentorship. Yeah, that's what I do.
So are you a referee in basketball?
Yeah, I'm now just become a national official in basketball, and I have a U17 national tournament coming up in Calgary uh, over the course of the summer. So it's fun, exciting stuff.
That is super exciting, and I'm probably gonna pick your brain on understanding what's a foul and what's not a foul because I can watch a million basketball games and I actually have no clue how they call a game. But we can have that chat someday for sure.
No doubt.
Awesome, awesome. So how did you hear about LG and what made you decide to join the league?
So that goes a ways back actually, and I actually played in that other beginnings of LG when it was something else. It was like a VHL, I believe it was, something along those lines. And then I kind of forgot about it for a while, to be honest. I was probably on another account, another like it was like way back, and then I just kind of just played club with the boys, Ferda, let's go, and then I met some guys, Def Grav to be specific, who was a goalie. He was more right D at the beginning. I met him as a right D, and then he became a goalie, outstanding goalie, solid between the pipes and that crew. So there was Def Grav, Shasta, Louis Vuitton, Violent Fury, and Dollar. So yeah, that was the crew. We were just chilling, playing off nights, and then my two wingers, because I was playing center at the time, which was Violent Fury and Louis Vuitton, said, I got these scheduled games. I'm like, what is this? And then yeah, they talked about LG, and I was like, okay, whatever, maybe I'll think about it. And then the next season rolled around, and I just kind of signed up. We took it. We took it from there.
That's awesome. I remember that group being around. I think when you guys had Owen Sound, and I know Def Grav pretty well. I actually got an opportunity to meet him just about a month ago, actually in person. So that he's a really cool guy online, really cool guy offline too. So good, you're rolling with a good crew there for sure. Um,
Yeah,
so what
agreed.
made you decide you wanted to get into management?
So how that began. I got to know a CHL owner really, really well. Not only on the ice but off the ice, and basically just seized the opportunity, to try and give others like a better overall experience with LG. I knew I had the right skill set personally to be successful in a managerial role to begin with. And I saw what was being done and just knew that I would fit well into decision making, scouting, bidding, like the whole aspect, right? Like it's just a whole I don't know how you say it. It's a whole pie, like you got to be able to dabble in a little bit of everything, especially if you want to be an owner. So the management side, I just kind of dipped my toes in when I met the Dollar Man, and that is a great guy. Man, big research behind, well connected in LG, and I got nothing but love for him. To be honest, he's pretty much the one that showed me the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Before we get to the next question, because it's the cup and Fug84, thanks for the follows. Appreciate it. Um, what advice would you give someone that's new to managing? So someone that's new into a management role, like what kind of advice would you give them to be successful?
So definitely, it's not for the faint of heart. So what that means, if I just go in depth a little bit on that, is like you're gonna make some enemies. You're gonna you're gonna make people um, unhappy at times. You're gonna deal with availability issues that are gonna annoy you. A lot's gonna go down that is gonna push your buttons and test you, and you can't let that stuff get to you. You gotta be, you know, easily able to brush those things off and move forward, and accept that nobody's perfect, and like people make mistakes, or put in the wrong avail, or whatever it is. So just not to be soft if you want to be a manager. That's for sure. And the second thing, for new management or owner, be ready to invest time. Um, the amount of hours that go in behind the scenes, like when you're a player, like my first season, because it was the only season I was actually a player. Um, it was just easy. You just, you sign up for your games, you get on, you play your games, you warm up, and you're good. You play your games, you're done. See you later next week. Ciao, bye. In regards to the league logistics stuff. But when you're a manager, an owner, you have to be, you have to have a sort of finesse, because there's a lot to get done in a very short period of time. So, um, time management, along with just overall in being ready to know that it could take time to get things right, is definitely the two key points of emphasis for new management.
Yeah, those are great points. Those are great points. L8l181 still alive. Thanks for the follows. Yeah, like you said, right? You can't work so hard to make everybody happy because you're never gonna make everybody happy. You need to be able to adjust on the fly. There's lots of curveballs you're gonna get thrown your way, and the time thing is important, right? Like the managers that put time in, the ones that don't. So those are great words of advice for sure. Okay, getting to the next question here. So when you were told last season that you were getting the Greyhounds, what was the first thing that you wanted to get done? Was it like your management? You want to get your management group, or was it making sure that you got some of the key re-signs that you got?
Okay, yeah. So this one is actually a funny one because, um, how do I go about this? There was there it was known to me that I was getting a team. So I knew that I was getting the Mem Cup winning team. With that being said, I did some reaching out ahead of time to see what it was going to look like for me, depending on what team I got. So a lot of work, to be honest, was done prior to me even getting the team. Like there was so many pieces in place for me to be that successful. Like last season, I had to be ready for basically everything, and for scouting purposes, for things like that. Like I didn't even know what team I was getting. I didn't know when I could start scouting. I didn't know who was gonna really be on my team or my management committee or anything. Like I had guys that I wanted to bring in depending on which way that it went, but nothing was set in stone. So a lot of work. I basically had to plan for having two different teams. I had to have two different strategies. But ultimately, when I did get my team, which was the Greyhounds, which was a blessing because I got to work with Polish, who is a absolute beauty. of a manager, and just getting the management on the same page, I guess, was really something of importance because I brought in Boo Korea with me as well, a good buddy who I've been, gaming with for like 3 4 years, about 3 years now. And yeah, so getting those guys on the same page on what we wanted to do and run with for the entire season, and telling them like what I've scouted and what they wanted to re-sign and everything. So like, and then we had to sign and trade deal with Calgary's owner Tom's, who's now actually currently my GM. So yeah, there was just a lot of inner workings that were done prior to me even getting the team. So when I did get the team, it wasn't that much of a scramble, to be honest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, I don't know if everybody in that place would have done the same thing, right? It shows the work that you're willing to put in, getting it all organized beforehand. And I think you did a great job with one, your management group, and then your re-signs were key too. Like just a great start to the season with what you did there. So that's awesome, man. That's good insight too, right?
Yeah,
Um,
the resigns that I did take back, obviously was Tanny, who was, 2 seasons in a row leading the league in points. Well, I mean, season 40 he led the league, and then season 41 was up there in the top 3, top 5, whatever it was. An absolute machine offensively, absolutely ridiculous. And then the other resign that we had was Scarney, and Scarney was highly interested in learning the management aspect of what was going on. So we kind of re-signed him in the respect that he would, input with, have basically running his own line kind of type deal, and interested in trades and how the site worked. Like, so it was really fun to have those guys back, especially because we wanted, that was something that we discussed, Polish and I, that we wanted to Polish, I and Boo, that we wanted to keep the culture of the Mem Cup winning team the same as much as possible. So bringing those guys back was key.
Not a bad idea, right? M Cup team's a successful team, so that's good. Now you made a lot of moves through the season and some really big ones as well. Is there anyone that stands out to you that it was your best trade? And then on the flip side, was there one that stands out that you would wish you did not make?
Ooh, okay, yeah. Um, so basically, looking back and thinking over the season that we had, our main focus for too long was to try and figure out our, let's say, quote unquote, third line, which, I mean, on paper, you look at our third line, it was actually my line. Um, Skill wise, like chemistry wise, it would have been the Scarney's line that was technically, what we, if you had to call a third line, that was the one that we were trying to constantly solidify, because they even though they were highly talented and got a lot of wins, a lot of maybe what a lot of people didn't see from the outside was that there was no chemistry there whatsoever. If you played against them, you would understand, but if you looked at them on paper, you'd be like, huh, those guys are solid. Those guys are solid AF. Like, there's nothing there. But internally, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out and make that line successful, because one of the other coming over from one of the sign and trade deals that we had was Louis Vuitton, which is one of my good buddies for the past years now, like almost 5 years. We met IRL, and everything. He came to my place. We went snowboarding together, yada yada yada. But I brought him in to play on that line with Scarney and Cup, because it's the Cup, who has multiple seasons esports experience, played at the higher levels, and everything. So I figured it would mesh well, because I was bringing in somebody who's a good dude, this, that, the other. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out. So there was a lot of juggling that for that line, if you will. Sometimes I mess up my words because I'm French, so my brain is like messed up sometimes.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense. It's
but
clear.
yeah, so that's like all the deals that were made were necessary ones in order to give those guys the best possible chance to be successful. Because as a manager, as an owner, that's my goal at the end of the day. If you look at my record, if you go on LG site and you look at my stats, you'll look at me and you'll just be like, okay, yeah, this guy's very basic, very average, nothing crazy, like decent across the board. But what a lot of people don't see is that a lot of my time played in LG has been sacrificing myself in positions that possibly I shouldn't have, that I might not have been in, that I wasn't in my first couple seasons when I was just a player, like my first season when I was just a player. So when I look back at that and you analyze a little bit, you know, um, where was I going with this? Basically, what I wanted to say was just that like I've sacrificed myself a lot and to for the betterment of the team. So that can actually touch back on, if you're going into management, just be aware that sometimes, you're going to have to put your team's best interests at heart before yourself. And like I said, the trades that were necessary were the deals that I was trying to do whatever I possibly could to make those guys happy, because every other line, the other two lines were pretty much happy, and fairly successful right out of the get. So one of the trades though that I really, there was three trades I think, I'm pretty sure that I would have liked to have had back. Boyka, SL Boyka, who's a prospect, um, that got a double bid, like Swifty brought up the other day on his stream. It was hella funny, because when he was talking about one guy, he went from 4.5 million to like 5 million and 5.5, and I was just thinking back because I did the same thing on one of my guys, by accident, because so how that happened was basically I gave the reins to Polish to do all the bidding because I was unavailable for the first like 2-3 hours of bidding. And then like 5-10 minutes before bidding, I had like some free time. So I was like, all right, let me get into this. Let me push some buttons. And I reached out to Polish and he didn't message. He was locked in, my guy. And so I went and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bid on this guy. So and I told him I was bidding on that guy, but he was just so dialed in. And then I put the bid up there, and then I'm like, wait, maybe I shouldn't do this, and I clicked, and then like I just like tried to back out, and I just messed up the whole thing. And then next thing you know, we have a double bid on a guy that was totally unnecessary. But Boyka was a really solid player that I didn't want to move, but I had no choice to move, because I needed a goalie at the time. And the only way to make that trade happen when Shane got called up, was when we went to go and get notes. And that was a great incoming addition to our team. Uh, but what I had to sacrifice in return was a bit of a struggle. That hurt. Then the second one was Guides. Moving Guides, left wing on that third line, I think we kind of basically just did like a trade off kind of thing where we got the same kind of situation, same kind of player back, but Guides, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that who he replaced in any light was worse talent wise. It's just chemistry wise, it fit better. So Guides was one, and then the last one, um, was Lemieux. Lemieux was my right wing, at the beginning of the season, and I felt him as well. He was a prospect, so he's new to the league. He played some esports, solid guy, fun guy to have in your party. Really, really cool dude. Play some goal music, in the background after the boys score, hype up the squad. You love to see it. Moving him, bringing back in Big Mike. Like I love Big Mike. Big Mike's my boy as well, like from way back now. And it's just I don't know. I just felt chemistry wise and league dynamic, Lemieux was a better fit, and we didn't need to make that move. We kind of wanted to make that move, if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
then also bringing in Dr. Beans. That was a massive incoming trade for Polish's line because they're good buddies. And shut down D, great guy.
that's awesome, man. That's a lot of really good insight. Just before I comment on it, Fly, Swifty, Trimmy, Ducky, the killer. Thank you so much for the follows. Appreciate it. No, that's a ton of really good insight, and it's crazy to think some of the really good players that you had to move off your team to make your team better to get where you ended up. Like it's actually crazy when you're talking about some of those players that you had to move and how good your team still was. Now, if I'm not mistaken, though, G Weeds, did he have some availability issues? Because I remember not seeing him not play too many games when he was with you. Like maybe he had like a week or two off or something. Did that have anything to do with you having to move him?
Yeah, so Guide's the main concern and main issues that we were having with him was the fact that he was an AHL PSN player in playoffs, and it was like I said, it was just the same, more of the same, and but Guide's was yeah, it was mainly just a veil and just the classic, how do you say, just showing up game time kind of stuff, and just the annoying nuances of what comes with it sometimes.
Yeah, I've had those guys in the past for sure. It's just tough. They're unreal players, but they just decide like, hey, I'm gonna show up just on time for the games. You're trying to get the line to run for some chemistry, and it's just not working out. It's nothing against that person. They perform when they play, and just the way it is. Potato, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Monster, thanks for the follow. The chat's loving you right now, Slayer. So this is a great interview, and we still have a lot to get through here. So we've been talking about how strong your team was. You had a really good season. I think you guys had a ton of confidence. I always saw guys in the shout box and in some of the other discords as well talking about your team. Talk me through what went wrong in that series against the Mem Cup winning Generals. Is there anything that you would have done differently that looking back, is there anything you would have done differently to give yourselves a better chance in that series?
Next question. I skip.
You're
I fold.
skipping that one?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Oh my
kidding.
god.
Imagine, no.
No,
Imagine.
I would the interview would have been over. It would have been done just like that.
Just shut it down. Let's
Favorite
go. It's
interview to
over.
just absolute not even saving it.
Oh
Let's go.
man,
Fill
yeah,
us in.
that's a big one. So off the rip, if I answer that question, it's mainly a veil. Um, we don't have Dr. Beans for game one, and then Kevin, our left wing, Kevin Hockey, somehow, some way, don't know what's going on, goes MIA, literally 5-10 minutes before game time. We take a double penalty, almost forfeit that game, and both games, game one and game two, lead to overtimes. We lose, 3-2, 3-2. I think it's 3-2 and 3-2 in both of those games. And you have Dr. Beans in game one. Uh, I would, put my money on us on that one. And then, just like game two, like I said, game two, same thing. If Kevin shows up on time, we're not forced to take two penalties. We come out of the gates flying. It's a completely different series where I totally thought with who we were putting out and who we were going to be matching up against that we were going 2-0 on game on day one. Like it just if you look at it and you look how it unfolded after the fact, if you put Dr. Beans in game 1, we win that, we have momentum, and then Kevin shows up on time on game 2 and we don't take two penalties right out of the rip, and we're flying, we're goated, we're going into the second night 2-0, and then it's them playing catch up. But it didn't turn out that way. It went the other way. There was some, that's just the way she goes. So also there was, some wear and tear over the course of a season. This is, behind the scenes. Once again, another little thing is that, that people don't necessarily see. There's disagreements. between managers. There's, other little things that go on, annoyances. You have a little blow up, you come back together, XYZ, the other thing. And, you know, it's just gets to a point that you want to, keep your head in the game, but sometimes you need that little break. The seasons are long, it's like 2 months or 2.5 months of chilling with the same guys night in, night out. We grind, we get her done, and then, just, certain things don't go our way, and people are seeing things differently and want changes to be made ASAP. And it just that whole series, don't get me wrong, and I don't get, I'm not saying this at all about Oshawa. They are a phenomenal team. They were disgusting. Like, they were really good, but we were just as good. And for us to have gone out like that, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, they got the great bounces, and then there you go. So if I go into game 3 and game 4 now off the top of my head, just like that, you know, in game 3, I hit a post to open the game, and my right wing, Big Mike, missed the net on a 1T, a wide open net. Those are the first two good scoring opportunities of the game for regardless what side. Either one of those goals go in, we have a different game. But, it is the way it is. They got some great bounces when they needed them. And after winning those two games against us, Oshawa had been on a 6-game overtime winning streak. Disgusting. Who does that? But hey,
Joshua
you
does
know,
that.
they got her done. That's what matters. At the end of the day, you got to tip your cap. You got to, give them a cheers of the brewski, and they got it done. So I don't think there was anything else that we could have done, to be honest, in that situation, in that how do you say, in this series, that could have maybe swayed it our way. Maybe switch me to right D game 1. It's just a cluster when you have availability issues. So yeah, mainly it all stems from avail.
Fair enough. So I'll tell you, like, the three takeaways I just took from that was one, Kevin is hockey needs to change his name to Kevin is costing.
Oh,
Two, availability, obviously, and three, it sounds like you and Big Mike need to hit the net so you can win some games.
clearly.
Um,
Yeah.
Before we get to the next question
You
that
can
I
tickle my
prepared you
twine.
for, I did need to kind of give myself a shout out and your team a shout out, and just kind of ask you how you felt on giving Big Kahuna 03 his first ever playoff win that only came to your team. So how does that make you feel?
No, what happened there? When did that happen? To my team? To me?
Not you,
We
cause
didn't lose to
not
you.
you. You lost. Your team lost to my line. That Kevin is costing line decided to drop one and give Big Kahuna his first ever playoff win.
Well, what do you want me? Where do you want to go with this one? What do you want me to say? I
I
don't
just
know.
want to say, how does that make you feel? You made
How did
my
it make?
day. You made my career. I'm super happy now.
Well, I'm glad I can do you a solid. You did me a solid. You brought me on here. I do you a solid. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all Gucci. You know what I mean?
So are you saying that you gave me that win?
No.
Okay, I
I
earned
don't
it.
know.
I earned it.
You definitely earned it. You
Perfect.
definitely earned
That's
it.
what I wanted to hear. That's what I want to hear. Also, my line gave the Polish Blues Tandy Boy line, whatever line you want to call it. We gave them their only regulation loss in the season, so that just puts me as an elite as you and your team. So just wanted to
Fair
throw that
enough.
out there before we move on.
No, that's dope. Good shit. Let's go. I
Next
like that.
topic here, and this one might be a little bit too fresh. But what are your thoughts on Polish not being able to manage with you this season? And was it a surprise to you when you got that news?
So, yeah, so complete shocker. And what's funny is it shouldn't have been, because we should have, I should have just looked at the record and been like, yeah, this is not happening. And, just move on. But to be honest, I just missed the memo, like straight up, just right over my head, right over his head. We were ready to rock and roll. We had plans set up. We were 0 to 60 real quick. Like, we were going. And yeah, like, honestly, it was just, and then just slammed the brakes. The whole system failed. Everything shut down. There's, fucking, excuse my language, but there was red lights going off. Like the whole, radioactive plant was melting down. When I got the news, I was like, oh no, this isn't real life. I gotta be dreaming. But yeah, no, it was honestly, it was a complete shock, and it shouldn't have been. So, um, but in retrospect, like if I look at it like league wise, ruling guidelines, if it's solely based over, a record, then yes, it makes sense for him to have to be to have to move up. But if that's once again what you're basing it off of, me myself, and I do not have an ego whatsoever. You can ask anybody that's ever played with me or knows me or anything like that. They know that I shouldn't be in the C. And it just goes to show you with my WJC record. When I was playing with my line in WJC, Wedding June, Big Mike, Cloudy, Niavlis, which is Niavlis, and Parrots A. This was easily an AHL close to probably maybe top line in the AHL, and we went 13-1. So it goes to show you that clearly not, in this league. But if you look at my record in comparison to my skill level or see me on the ice, you'll be like, okay, if this guy's matched with good players, he's gonna excel really well. Whereas, once again, don't take this the wrong way because Polish is a beauty. He's a great guy, great player. But with that being said, and this is this because he makes the plays. He's a, how can you say, Polish is a thinker. He's a great mastermind of the game. He plays a IQ game, but skill wise, if he's not matched with the right people, he would struggle. The reason why he was so successful, in my opinion, this is only in my opinion, is the fact that he had Tanny and his boys, and Demdad was his boy as well. Rosart, he was really Rosart's just an absolute beauty as well, like straight up gold. And Dr. Bean. So he was very comfortable in the system. He controlled his own destiny, let's say, with that. So, but with that being said, record wise, does his record reflect his skill level? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because you put him with guys maybe that he doesn't know in higher level, and does he do what he just did? It's to be seen. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? So, um, yeah, that's basically it was. But at the same time, like I'm saying, it's completely understandable that he has to move up, and it's completely, a good thing what's happened. And, it's just definitely took me by surprise because, I was ready to rock and roll with Polish again. That guy is, I don't even know. There's not even words that can explain how dedicated, what he brings to the table, and, what he offers as a manager. It's unreal.
Yeah, I know for sure. And he's an awesome dude. I've played some games with him. Really, really good guy. Have a lot of good chats with him too, off in DMs and whatnot. So just kind of follow up on that then, like, you say you're not a CHL player. Why not move up?
So my plan is to this might be leaked information, but my plan is honestly to move up next season. That's what I wanted to do because I was so close this season in getting to the semis. I feel like I can do it again, and if not get further, which is the goal, and get that Mem Cup before moving up. And why do I not move up? Because basically, I don't see myself not being a manager in LG, on a management team or owning, and I just want to secure that kind of, how can we say, we get that clout before we make those, and I just got that type of recognition this season. Before that, you would never knew who I was. It was it didn't matter, like I was irrelevant, but now I'm more or less relevant. So moving up is in the plans for next season, but I also just love the management aspect of LG and bringing in new guys. That's why I love the CHL too, is because those prospects, I have guys, at the higher levels, reaching out to me, telling me, hey, look at this guy. Hey, look at that guy. So I do my best to bring those guys in, give them a good experience. And like I said, I am, on the board of my local basketball refereeing association for a reason. And it's the development, the recruiting, and the mentorship aspect of bringing in new officials, teaching them the ropes, sticking with them, and bringing them up and everything like that. So I just feel like I'm best suited at this point in time, especially just for summer. It's summer season. Uh, People seem to take it a little bit lighter. I feel like I can do more of that while still being competitive and trying to get to that ultimate goal, right? Before moving up.
Fair enough.
That's why I stayed with the
Fair
scene.
enough. Yep. So I'm gonna hold you to that. You're moving up next season. No matter what happens this season,
I'm
you're
off the
moving up.
scene.
Moving up.
We out.
Not we. You are out. I'll be staying in the
You're
CHL for
coming
sure.
with me.
I'm not going nowhere, my friend.
Hey, you beat Polish.
I won my first playoff game this season. I got a little grow. I got a little bit of growing to do, my friend. Next question. This is a fun one. I love hearing this one. I hear the same teams all the time, but I'd love to hear your perspective because you give such good insight when you're answering these questions. Worst team to deal with for trades.
So before we get into okay, before we get into worst teams or team or teams, because I have plural on there, um, it's the classic make me an offer. Like I reached out to a team, X team, doesn't matter the team, and I tell you what I want. This is who I'm interested in. Okay, player player A. I like this guy. This is the guy I want. This is what I want to do. This is where I'm going. I told you what I want, and then they say, "Well, make me an offer. Make me an offer." Okay, but like, what do you need? What do you want? What do you like? You can see my roster. You can go and look on. What do you mean, make me an offer? Are we playing guess who here? Are we flipping cards? Like, are we reading tarot cards? Am I supposed to see the future? Like, I don't have, and this is the one of the things about trades in LG. This is the biggest pet peeve for me of trades in LG is that it's gonna take 2.5 days for us to make a deal or not make a deal where I'm wasting my time. So that's brutal. The make me an offer if you want to get on my nerves. And I might have just gave you an inside, but you know, you can say that to me, and oh boy, I'm just over it. Like,
Okay,
and
so before you move on from that, like I want to answer that because I'm the opposite. When somebody comes to me asking about a player, to think that they don't have something in mind already as to like if to get this player, I'm willing to move these guys for him is crazy to think. Like if you really wanted that player and you saw him on my roster, you should be coming to me and saying like, "Hey man, interested in this player. These are the guys I'm willing to move. What do you think?" And that starts the trade conversation, right? Instead of me having to go and look at your roster. I'm not in the business of moving this guy potentially, right? You should come and make it desirable for me. That would be
well,
my
well,
only rebuttal to that.
that makes sense if I was cold calling on a player that was not on your trade block. I meant to say that these players are usually on trade block. So this player is posted, like player A is on your trade block. I'm interested in that player. And you're saying, make me an offer. Well, it's like, okay, but, this is the player that I want. What do you want? If I'm coming to you, it means that I'm willing to pretty much give you anything. And then normally it follows up. I've figured out the way to get around it, basically. And like you're saying, exactly, this is what I'm willing to offer here, and I'll give that information. But at the same time, like the whole make me an offer deal is like, and then I'm playing Uno with you. I'm playing guess. I'm saying, like, okay, if I want player A, I'm willing to offer, player B and player C. Okay, no, you don't like that. Okay, now I'm offering you because on our rosters there's 35. Like I had like close to 35 players. So like you want me to mix and match until I get through. If you do, 1 to the power of 35, how many different combinations can I offer you before we get, like to the point here? So that's all I'm saying about, that whole make me an offer thing, because there's no like, okay, make me an offer. I need, you can add just a little bit of, I need a lefty or I need a this. Okay, now I can work with that. I got three lefties available. This is my best one. This is what you can have. You know what I mean? Like, it's just those usually get on my nerves. But I understand what you're saying, where presenting the information ahead of time would probably go a long way, which I did, realize towards the end. And you just bringing that up definitely, raises a good point.
Yeah, and I think your point's great too, for sure. And I know that's frustration as well, but I just want to make sure they give that side too, right? Like so many guys are just
Oh
like, look
yeah.
at my team, look at my team. I don't got time to look at everybody's team. Send me somebody you're willing to give up.
Yeah.
But let's get into the teams. Who was the worst team, or if you need to have a couple teams, who were the worst ones to deal with this season or this past season in season 41?
Okay, so I'll go from lower. Like, can I say who was good or not?
No,
You
no,
don't want to know
I
who's
don't
good.
care about who was good. Nobody wants to hear
Okay.
that. They want to hear the bad stuff. They want to hear that the drama.
Oh man, come on, no. All right. So Portland was a funny one. Portland was definitely complicated, let's just say, and complex at times, because Chicken and Polish are good buddies, but there was things that we were trying to get done with them, and then we did things that they didn't like, and it went back and forth on a few basically reneged offers last minute at, like, 5:59 on the, the last possible second, and we were working on these deals for days, and then it's like, oh no, my AGM doesn't like that guy. Well, like, what? We've been talking for like 3 days now. Like, what's going on here? So there was like, and then, there was back and forth. Oh, you moved this guy when I wanted that guy, and so it was just a complex. And there was definitely some bad blood going on, but we resolved those issues. And as the later, more the season went on, and there was definitely some other stuff over there. Like, I wasn't a big Reset fan, um because of a past experience, but the guy's gold. He's literally, he's super super nice guy, fun to play with, fun to be with. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had a preconceived notion of what I thought that he was, and I could have confused him with somebody else maybe. So that already didn't, go well. And then, some a bit of jealousy with Legends, because Legends is like the QC hunter of all the French guys, and I like my French guys too. And he's getting all the good ones, So like the coach, like I wanted the coach, I reached out to the coach. I was talking to the coach, and couldn't get the coach. So at the end of the day, and then the chicken man. Well, we exchanged words in DMs, and but love the guy, great manager, absolute beast. Did what he did, and it shows. So Portland was back and forth, a little bit complex over over the course of the season, but hands down, without a doubt, like, rip your hair out, like smash your head through the wall, like, like craziness, was Windsor. 100%, hands down, no cap, without a lie.
Windsor.
Oh man.
That's fair. I had some issues with them too. I love to hear the issues with Portland. Nobody talks about issues with Portland. For sure, I could see that happening, but somehow you guys made this crazy. When you talk about your crazy math equations, you were talking about like 1 to the power 35 and shit. You guys made like a three-way crazy deal with that Eliash and all that shit. So you guys must have sorted your stuff out.
Exactly. That was after 3 weeks of back and forth, and missing deadlines and XYZ and the other thing.
And you see Kieran in the chat saying everyone has a Windsor story. We could do a stream one day on just the Windsor stories. We do a little powwow.
Oh my
around
god.
around the campfire and go through our Windsor stories. But yeah, no, that's some really good insight. This is really good so far. This has been great. One last question though. And then I'll give it an opportunity to for you to ask me a question, as well as I'm gonna kind of ask the chat if they have any questions for you. And again, like I've said to all my other guests, man, like if they ask a question that you're not really comfortable answering, we'll move on. It's not a big deal. But if you were to change
Hey,
one thing
I
in the,
get
oh, go
I
ahead.
got nothing to hide. I got absolutely nothing to hide. I'm here for the people, by the people, to represent the people. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
There you go. There you go. So, Chad, if you have any questions for him, I will scroll through. I saw a couple come through, but last question for you, Slayer. If you were to change one thing in the league, what would it be?
Yeah, so this one, I thought long and hard about this one a little bit. And okay, so I'm just gonna out it basically, and then we'll go from there. We can both throw it back and forth a little bit. I'd love to see how you think about this one too. Um, with where LG is at, um, in its progression as a league and everything like that, I think, with everything that LG McDonald talks about, Buck talks about, offering things to management and, perks and, no ads or whatever, the XYZ. The other thing is that the amount of hours that these guys already put in to put in more, even more, it blows my mind because I mean, everybody has their roles, right? So like I'm an owner, so I have my responsibilities that I got to take care of. Buck is, he's the main bog. So he has his things, to take care of, and those are his tasks. LG McDonald, XY, we can go on for forever with that. But like the thing is that I feel like everybody has so much on their plate with what they're doing that there's no way to incentivize. Like the thing is how do you incentivize somebody to do something that they don't want to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's already doing an extreme amount, if not more than they even need to be doing or should be doing. And that's it. Like, how do you incentivize somebody with that to do something that you don't necessarily that they don't necessarily want them to do? Like talking in regards to getting, good quality managers, right? Like, you gotta lie, you gotta cheat, or you gotta steal. Because if somebody doesn't want to do something, you're never gonna convince them to do them otherwise, unless you're kind of swindling them somehow, or unless you're just a super master mind manipulator, crazy something. But um, the way that think, I think LG, to be honest, to be fully honest with you, it should be pay to play. They have the numbers to do so. They have the dedication, I believe. Like when somebody gets banned, for instance, you know, they have to pay like at a cap ban, they have to pay like $100 or $50 or whatever it is to get back in. Like, so like make a LG pay to play like $5, to sign up each season, $5. So over the course of a game, if they have 2,000 signups in one season, that's 6 grand, and make it like like a non-profit type thing. Everything is going back into. So this way, now, if you had 6 grand in the bank account, you can go out and buy all those copies. You don't have to ask EA for the copies, or you don't have to do, that's the one thing that I would change about LG, is to better the tools that the guys that run the league have to make it even better than it is. And one of the best ways, I think, would be that, just $5. The game costs like $100 anyways. So what's an extra $5? It's not going to turn people away. I mean, 16, 17 to 18-year-old, the kids, they're already paid $100 for the game. What's it to ask mommy and daddy $5 more? Or, go cut the grass and say, hey, can I get $5? I need to, it's not a big deal. So I think that would go a long way in making LG become, and it's probably going to be the first of its kind, maybe to pay to play in esports, but in like virtual gaming. But I think that would be that's, I don't know, a suggestion on my end.
So, is your suggestion more about like improving what the league is today, or is the suggestion literally like we should make it a play to play?
it's not necessarily like a pay to play. It's kind of like a subscription thing, I guess you can call it. Like just like the improvements of the league, I feel like you would incentivize and get better you know so like what would I change about the league is basically to fast track the the betterment of the league. That's what I would like to change. I would like for, you know, the guys like I said who are running the league to be able to have more tools in order to, you know, grow, expand, and make the league even better than it is. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change the league. The league is great. I don't see much that I can, like, you know, really. I mean, if you want to change, I would say more communicate. Like if you want to go really basic, you could say more communication before between the CHL and the AHL level, because I know that the NHL AHL talk quite a bit on decisions that are being made and moves and XYZ and the other thing. But like in my opinion, there's no discussions between AHL and CHL unless you're comfortable with the guy, or you have to reach out to know if a guy's going to get called up. But that's pretty much where that story ends. So I guess that's what I would change about LG. Make it more friendly, not friendly, but make the avenue more open to for communication between the C and the A.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
But
fair. I like the idea of like improving on tools, and I believe like LG does like a survey every year where it's like what can we improve, what should be working on. I think that that's like kind of where they're trying to improve based on the feedback. So if you're a manager in this league and you're getting those surveys, it's super important that you fill those out and you give your honest opinion. Now, going to a pay to play thing, I, it changes everything, right? Like it really does. It makes things a lot more difficult. One, it makes the league a lot more responsible and brings on more responsibilities when you have people that are physically paying money to play. Now you owe them this service, whereas right now it's like a just for fun league, call it like it's a sim league, and you have the responsibility, but you really don't because like if the league shut down tomorrow, we're not invested any money or anything into it. Once you start investing money into something, now it's like a whole different responsibility. And the other thing
yeah,
too is like it'd be very hard to like there's guys that might not play and like you think they're gonna pay. I think honestly, I know you said you don't think we'd lose guys. I think we would lose guys, and I just think it makes the league so much more complex and almost like the people that run the league now owe us because we're paying into this league. They owe us all these quality things. Whereas today they don't really owe us. They do it because they're proud of their league and they want to keep doing it like that. I think it just brings in so much complexities. But again, I remember there is a survey that comes out and it's a good way to get your voice across about what needs to be fixed. What tools do you need, right? Like if you have that idea of tools, I think it's a great idea to suggest those to McDonald or Tris or whatever, right? Like if you have some good ideas, because there's definitely ways that this stuff can work better. And when you talked at the beginning saying like ads, like if we could get ads off as managers, that would be huge. The amount of times I want to throw my phone across the room because an ad pops up or I can't get to a page because it's waiting for an ad to load drives me nuts. So, but yeah, I think like if you have ideas about tools, I think get it out there, man. Let people know.
yeah, for sure. You know, like a bake sale kind of thing. Like, you know, the Girl Scout sell cookies, you know, like I don't know, but like I just feel like we're at the wit's end. We're at the cap. It's just the way that I see it. Like, and like I'm saying, it could be totally off. I could be totally off. I just feel like right now everybody is a volunteer, and there's not much incentive to want to do more, especially being like like I'm saying about being an owner, being a solid owner, or being a bog and being a really good bog, like or running the league. Like everybody is volunteering their time. How much more, like you said, yes, okay, people might feel like they're owed a service now, but I mean, if we're paying, you know, $20 a season or more, okay, yeah, $5, like I don't know, it's like for me, for I like $5, it comes and goes in the wind,
But that
but
like you got to think like $5 for you, and then you have 2,000 signups on the Xbox side. You have more on the PSN side. All of a sudden, like it turns
exactly.
into a decent amount of money. and that now you have to have somebody to manage that money. You need somebody like, and again, it might not be nothing, but like it ends up being something down the line. I personally don't think it would ever work out. I mean, am I against it? Would I pay $5 to play? Sure, I would. But I would now have this expectation that this like nothing goes wrong in this league if I'm paying to play.
I would just think it could only get better from what it is now. If this is what it is by volunteers, imagine what it would be do, what it would turn into. I mean, maybe it would completely change the dynamic of the league and make it like not fun or not good or yeah, it's possible. It's very possible, but I just don't see it going that way because of already who's in place, in powers of position, in positions of power. I think it would allow those guys to be able to convince or to persuade or to get things done much more efficiently and easier um and people would be obliged but you're like you're saying people would be obliged to get things done
Yeah,
so I think it would be I don't know it would be interesting. That's pretty much my take on that.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Um, so Slayer is asking paid ownerships. Owners get paid now moving forward. That's the suggestion. We'll take it like that.
Well, like get a free copy of the game, like they're saying. It would be a
I'm just
or something
I'm
like
just
that.
kidding with you, buddy.
Who
No,
knows?
I think it's a good suggestion.
Give it up.
Different suggestion too. I'm gonna go to the chat for a couple questions, and then you can ask me
Nice.
your question for me. Spads
Yeah.
asked, "Do you think you would have been successful this year if you didn't start with a cup-winning team, and you had to build a team by scratch?"
Oh, that's a good one. Um, so in the past, 90% of my teams were from scratch. Was I as successful? No. Did I make playoffs every season? Yes. So, um, would I have been as successful? Most likely, very very close to maybe not semis or maybe semis. I don't know. Actually, that's a really good question, Spads. I like that one. Um, I think that would have been fairly close because I did have. It would have been a different ball game out of the gate, but I think we would have been almost, if not just as close to the same result.
Nice. All right, and I think Swifty with his no thumbs live tag in here saying need more respect on Dr. Bean's name. So do you want to talk a little bit about Dr. Beans, a little bit more about him?
I mean, I don't, and I just don't know what you want. Are we
Pump his tires,
doing?
maybe, I guess. I don't know. I
Oh,
think that's what he wants.
snap! Don't we have to dedicate bits or something like that on Swifty's show for pumping tires or something like that?
Ah, come
We
on, he
gotta.
was on your team. He's your boy.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. I'm looking out for your interests over here, buddy. Come on now.
I don't need bits, dude. I don't need bits.
Okay, okay. No, I'm just kidding. But Dr. Beans. So Dr. Beans, locker room, just as a person individually, great guy. You love to have those kind of guys. Easygoing, fun to be around, lockdown defenseman, shut down defenseman, can get the puck out of the zone. He does everything that you want him to do. You know what I mean? Like what do you want? What do you want more from? He's just that player. He's that guy on the ice. You know what I mean? Like he just does what he needs to do when he needs to do it. Rarely puts himself in a bad position. And yeah, just solid all around defenseman. Everything you're looking for in a D man, you got it right there.
There you go. I'm gonna ask you this for somebody in the chat: is your management better from season 41 or season 42?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, wait. The question has to be a little bit more specific because this is gonna
No,
take me a
man.
long time to answer.
No, I don't want.
Because
No, this is a quick answer. Season 41 management or season 42 management? Just pick one.
it's different. It's different.
Pick one.
It's just I can't pick one. It's just different. What do you mean?
Are you excited about your management team this season?
Hell yeah, I'm excited about my management this season. I was hella excited about my management last season too.
That's funny. Fog, I
I,
tried, buddy. I tried.
I knew it was from that little sneaky guy. You sucker.
That's so awesome. Okay, that's it for the questions in the chat for now. It looks like. Oh, you know what? Fly Guy actually had one. Who's the biggest threat in each league?
Oh, out of the gate, just like that, with just management on the
Yeah,
board.
yeah. Let's do that. Let's go with that. Who's the biggest threat right now?
Okay, I just pulled up the site. I'm just going through it right real quick. Um,
While you're looking
okay.
that up, Fug's asking how he retires.
Ah, he's salty, huh? Okay, Salt Bay,
Yeah.
relax. Ah, Fug's a beauty. Fug's powerful, man. That's he's a very good player. You guys should be watch out for that guy.
Well, we're gonna have to because we're gonna have to play you guys, so I have to watch out for
Mm.
him.
Okay. So, man, that's a who's the powerhouses in each divisions?
Just give me who you think's the biggest powerhouse, biggest threat right now in the OHL. Let's go OHL.
Okay, on my side. Uh, if I had to, because apparently everyone's saying that our side is way more powerful than the other side. So I'd have to go out of the gates with. Oh my God, not making this easy on me. Uh, I like Niagara. SMS is very powerful as long as he doesn't get messed up by the AHL.
You're not allowed to give everybody love. You got to pick your best.
Okay, okay, okay.
Who scares you? Who do you think is going to give you a run this season?
Oh man. Just one? I have to say one?
One. Just pick one.
That's brutal, man. She's sheezy.
I mean, to me, it's
Okay.
there's a couple that have come right to my head right away. There's got to be one. Come on.
There's two. There's
Okay, I'll
really
give you two.
there
Go two.
so like Kingston,
Yep.
uh Pliny is calculated. He's very, very good at what he does. He's gonna be a problem. He's always a problem. Last season, I don't know what the heck happened over there. There was a lot of juggling, and it just didn't turn out. And then the other one's probably London. Chick Hen Nugs, Bick, and they have the goalie owner, so it's kind of weird because I've been through that twice, and it hasn't. Yes, I've made playoffs, so it's not like. But Chick and Bick, it's very, very powerful. So those two off the rip would probably be the scariest teams for me
Fair enough.
to go up against off the rip.
Hey, good picks. Good picks. Um. All right. Question for me.
I don't know if you got asked this question or not, but it's just something that keeps coming up often in my chats, anyways, and my when we talk about it. X factors, yay or nay?
I have not been asked this question. I am a nay. I am a nay
Ooh.
on the X Factors. I think they were cool, I guess. I don't know, but they decide games, and it's not necessarily the best players that decide games in some scenarios. For example, I mentioned it earlier. I was able to beat the Polish line for their only regulation loss this past season. I that was one of the only games I ever had Heat Seeker on. And I scored 2 goals from the blue line, just stepping over the blue line and shooting and scoring. So should that happen? Probably not. But it happened because I had the trait, and I don't know. I think they kind of take away from some of the players' skill levels. So I am a nay on traits.
Okay, okay, I respect that. I saw it a little bit different, man. And I had this conversation with somebody else very recently, and I was saying like me, I don't play with the X Factors logos turned on. Maybe I should, but it was really annoying at the beginning of the game, so I turned it off and I never had it on again. So maybe it would be advantageous to be able to, for defensive zone coverages and certain things like that I never really, thought of deeply into that much. I kind of look at it at the beginning of the game and kind of memorize and like know what's what and which players tend to do what, so I can do that on my own. I
Mm.
don't really need to see it on ice. But I just feel like if you're playing the game the way that it should be played, or like if you're playing general, if you have hockey IQ, you know that you should not allow a player to get to that position on the ice anyways. So therefore, regardless of trait or not, I feel like you should have been able to deny that opportunity, if that makes sense. The only two that annoy me like crazy are elite edges and magnetic. Those I feel like are just nonsense. There should be no reason why you should have to have a trait in order to skate properly, or a trait in order to receive a pass. It doesn't make any sense to me. Those two, it's just brutal. Everything else that actually boosts, something, a hitter, you're going to hit in hockey, but if you can hit that much harder, okay, fine. So you boost that. Like, those all make sense. Shooting power, those kind of things, like, those make sense. But those two, the elite edges and the magnetic, dude, oh man,
Yeah,
it's too
yeah.
much.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Fair enough. Awesome, man. Well, this was great. This is the longest one I've had, and it was extremely interesting the whole time. And I appreciate you hopping on and doing this and being so candid with everyone and everything you were talking about. It was just as fun as I expected it to be. Best of luck this season, man. And we'll match up, and hopefully I can steal a few points from you.
fair enough. I'm glad that you brought me on. You love to see it. I love to be around. The community has, been great to me, and I love it. And I will be here for, you know, a long time, hopefully.
Right on, man. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you coming on. Have a great evening, man.
Cheers.
All right, guys, that does it for the interview. Thank you so much for joining today. We've had a great chat going on. Lots of viewers, lots of new followers. Con, thank you. Scarney, I missed you. Sorry, thanks for the follow. Habs fan, thanks for the follow. Quit Weed 007 Tomps. Missed you guys on shutting out. We had such good conversation. I was unable to get there. Electric Factory Esports, thank you very much. Dirty Water, thank you very much. This is a lot of fun. This was a really good interview. Look forward to doing some more here in the future. We got AHL bidding starting tonight. We got CHL bidding starting on the weekend. I'll take a break until CHL bidding's over because myself being a manager, I've got some work to do and some stuff to take care of. Best of luck to everybody in bidding. And if you don't get a bid, keep grinding, find your way on a roster. Have a great night, guys. Appreciate everybody hopping on.